Hey everybody, I'm Joe. We're talking about the Marvel Multiverse game today, and we're going to look at the power sets that are best for dipping. Here we go. I have talked a lot about building characters inside of this channel, and one of the things that we've really explored is the idea that when you build a character, you want to have a strong concept of what that character is going to do and the direction you want the build to go, which usually means having one, at most two power sets that you're going to go deep and heavy into to get those really high prerequisite powers, the things that take several different powers and of course being a higher rank in order to obtain. And that's great. That's going to be the focus of a build. However, you can go into a new power set every single rank if you want to, and going into a new power set is going to be used most of the time in order to do a dip. In other words, getting just one or two or at most three different powers that are going to augment the larger build. So as I look at the best power sets for dipping, they need to have a couple attributes in common. The first is that they need to have the main thing I want when I dip into this power set available to me with very few prerequisites. I need to be able to pick it up with no prerequisites or maybe one power, two tops. I also need to be able to jump in and be able to scoop up what I want in really a dip that I can take care of in one rank. For instance, if I was to dip into a power set at rank 3 and I would be able to ideally pick up everything I want out of the power set by taking a couple powers automatically right at that rank and then moving away to something else. Lastly, the things that I really want need to be low rank prerequisites. I'm talking about being able to add these to the core of the build as early as rank 2, rank 3 tops. I'm not looking at something that I'm going to dip into at ranks 4 or 5, because at that point we're in the second half or the last third of the game, and therefore this dip is not really there for the core of the build. It's something that we're building towards, and that doesn't count for me for the purposes of this video. As a result, omniversal travel is not going to be one of the power sets we talk about here, because everything is rank 3 or above that you need in order to get into that power set. I want things that we can scoop up relatively early in our career and do so easily. So what are the best power sets for dipping in Marvel Multiverse? Presented in no particular order, here are my thoughts. The first power set that's ideal for dipping is Illusion. Illusion actually is wonderful. It gives you a lot of utility in and out of combat, particularly outside of combat. The first thing that's important to pick up here is going to be invisibility. Invisibility has no prerequisites except for being rank 2. It's ideal for us. And so we can come into Illusion, pick up invisibility, and we could be done if we want to, and that's fine. But don't forget that illusions are, of course, in the illusion power set. You have to pick up illumination, but picking up illumination, you can pick up static illusion and animated illusion in a feat chain. And so you can pick up some basic illusion powers. Now, you're not going to be as much of a master of illusion as somebody who goes heavy into the illusion power set, but you can definitely pull off some nice shenanigans. In all likelihood, the single best power set for dipping is martial arts. It is said in D&D that every single class wants to dip into fighter, and in Marvel Multiverse, almost every single character wants to dip into martial arts. I actually think that martial arts is better as a power set to dip into than one to go very heavy into, because things like chain strikes and leg sweep are okay, but I don't really need them for the character to feel really complete, unless I'm trying to build something that doesn't feel really super powered, but more of a daredevil type martial artist, in which case I'm also going to pick up melee weapons or ranged weapons or something like that. But look at what you can get with very small investments into martial arts. First and foremost is do this all day, which I use on a ton of builds. It's the ability to utilize your action to expend focus in order to heal, which is great. You can use that to pick up Brace for Impact, and now you have a reaction that's going to reduce damage coming in. If you are a melee combatant, you can pick up Grappling Technique inside of this power set with no prerequisites other than being rank 2. Defense Stance is inside of here. Spin and Throw is inside of here. Always Ready is inside of here. These are things that you can pick up that are going to augment other builds exceptionally well, and you don't have to spend a lot of time in martial arts, and you can do it at any point in a character build. This is the poster child for a fantastic power set to be able to go into in order to augment another build. I love it. The next power set that is ideal for dipping is phasing. The phasing power set is in all likelihood pretty overpowered. It is exceptional what somebody can do, and phasing is great for being the core of a build, but it's also amazing for dipping. You can do the phase self power with no prerequisites of any kind, and this allows you to become completely incorporeal and nothing can physically harm you. And that means you can't physically harm someone else, but it's a great infiltration capacity. It's great for being able to move through and solve problems. And in a pinch, it can save your life. But I think what a lot of people would be here for when dipping is going to be the quick phase power. You must be rank 2 and have phase self, and allows you to go into your phase self form, where you are incorporeal, as a reaction when targeted with an attack, meaning that you can be in the battlefield, be afraid that you're about to die, and when something targets you, you can simply spend a little bit of focus and go incorporeal. It is incredibly powerful, and you can pick it up as early as rank 2 with a 2 power dip. It's awesome. Next is power control. Power control honestly has a lot of potential as a power set to dip into, and you can tailor it to the way that you want to play this character. Being able to copy traits, clone moves, dampen powers, copy powers, bump powers, copy abilities. Each one of those has no prerequisite except for, with some of them, the rank that you're in. So you can come in and pick and choose what portion of power control is best fitting for your character. But if you come in with the idea that you want to be able to be a support character, you can eventually at rank 4 get boost powers, but that's breaking our rule. The ideal thing here is being able to come in, bump a power of a teammate, be able to copy a power, or be able to debuff somebody as early as you want to with dampen power, which has no prerequisites. There's a lot of small things you can do inside of here to make you more flexible on the battlefield or in a utility situation. It's awesome. Next power set that is great for dipping is spider powers. Spider powers I have been of two minds about for a very long time. I feel that it's a power set that needs support in order to really be a core part of a build, but spider powers gives you tons of mobility and utility. It just needs to be paired with something like martial arts or perhaps melee weapons in order to also have significant damage output possibilities. But what you can get in a dip into spider powers is diverse and interesting. Things like spider sense, things like venom blast, wall crawling, web casting, these are all powers that have no prerequisites. If you come in and want to do a 2-power dip, you can get web casting, web grabbing, web gliding. All of these things can happen as early as rank 2 with a 2-power dip. So most of spider powers has very few prerequisites and gives you a lot of mobility and utility. And that's awesome to add to a character that wants to do other things. It's very common for people to think that spider powers needs to be the core of a build. It really doesn't, and that's fun to think about. I just don't think I could talk about good ways of dipping a character if I did not talk about super speed. Now, super speed, of course, what we really want to get to is lightning actions, which is a rank 4 power, so I'm not really talking about that for this video, which automatically gives you an extra action every single turn. No, what we're here for is blazing fast fists. If you are building a melee combatant in this game and you want to be able to really do some punishing damage, you want to spend 1 rank dipping into super speed and pick up exactly exactly one power, and that is Blazing Fast Fists, which automatically gives you an edge on all melee attacks. All of them. There is no other thing you have to follow, no other prerequisite you need to meet. You just need to be rank 2, dip into super speed, and you can get an automatic edge on all melee attacks. This will of course stack with any other edge that you have. It is difficult to build a melee character and not want to dip into super speed just to pick up this one power. You could of course add speed run 1 and 2 in order to add some really nice speed to your character, but you don't even need that. And of course, once you get to rank 4, you pick up lightning actions, and now you're doing just massive amounts of damage. I struggled on whether or not to add in this next power set into this list, because a lot of things in here I don't feel are really good for dipping. You want to build a character around most of the telepathy power set. I've also spoken on this channel about how one of the key things that you can get inside of this power set is the ability to eventually go to telepathic possession and domination, which is very tricky to pull off. That's not what we're talking about. But I feel that telepathic link used with allies is so good that it warrants being on this list. Telepathic link allows you to connect telepathically with one character at a time, and it is a concentration power, which means you can use it multiple times, and you can have a number of telepathic links that is equal to your rank, so long as you're not concentrating on other things. Because remember, you can concentrate on a number of powers equal to your rank. This is not like a group chat, it's individual communication, but you theoretically can have multiples of these going on at the same time. The telepathic link is then used offensively against enemies for a number of things. However, you can use it in order to work with your allies. The number of times being able to telepathically communicate between characters that split up in order to do a job has been useful is just uncountable in my games. Characters that simply connect with each other telepathically save each other's lives. This happened in a game of mine literally in the last week, where someone straight would have died if they were not telepathically connected. That is how good telepathic link is. It has no prerequisites. You just have to be in the power set. And to use it in order to work with your allies, you don't even need a very high logic score in order for this to work, because you're not making a logic attack when you're using it with somebody that is willing. So there's a lot of great things that you can do with just this one power. And so I think that it is worthwhile considering telepathy as a power set to dip into. The last power set we are going to look at is teleportation. Teleportation is amazing, and there's a lot of stuff in here that you might very well want to take, like teleport together, making a portal. But let's ignore all of that and look just at the things that we can dip into. And the key is blink. Blink is the core of the teleportation power set. You have to take it to take everything else, and it allows you to use an action or reaction to teleport short distances. The action is great because it gives you incredible mobility inside of combat and non-combat situations. But it is the reaction that makes this so good for dipping, because you can simply teleport out of the way when you are targeted with an attack. That's incredible. It makes your character really, really difficult to kill. And if you add additional reactions, as you can do in this game, you all of a sudden are teleporting everywhere using your reaction and simply not getting hit. It's wonderful. You can also go into the teleport powers, which let you teleport longer distances, and your teleportation distance scales with your rank. So this actually scales upward like other movement and damage dealing capacities inside of the game. Teleportation is amazing with only 1 or 2 powers. Love it, consider taking it. As you build your character in Marvel Multiverse, it's really tempting to just go deep into one power set, but I can tell you that having one power set you go really deep into and cherry picking a few nice things that you can grab from other power sets is going to give you more mobility, more utility, and just make a more fun and well-rounded character. So have you had fun dipping into a power set to augment another one? We'd love to hear about it in the comments below. Of course, YouTube is literally made out of buttons. I hope you press some of them, and I'll see you next time. All right, peace.